How powerful is Spawn? Let's go. Hey, what's going on? It's been a while. I've missed you guys. Today's question is, how strong is Spawn? Let's find out. As we all know, Al Simmons was a US military assassin, ranking pretty high in the kill count. Eventually, this would catch up with him as he was sent to hell for all of his sins. He decided to strike a deal with Malbogia, one of the Hell Lords. In exchange for seeing his wife again, he'd be turned into a Hellspawn. This is where Al Simmons died, and Spawn was born. Spawn in his original adaptation isn't that powerful, but his other adaptations is where he really gets his strength. The first piece of scaling that actually puts Spawn at a high level of strength is when he fights a Redeemer. A Redeemer is basically heaven's answer to a Hellspawn. In his fight with the Redeemer, Spawn was actually able to counter light attacks from him. Not only does this give Spawn faster than light reaction and combat speeds, these specific types of attacks are meant to be Hellspawn's weaknesses, and Spawn was actually able to overpower it. Spawn is able to take attacks from Malbogia. Even though Malbogia wasn't at his prime, he was still able to kill Heaven's strongest angel, and this angel was able to survive anti-creation attacks. This feat can be scaled to multi-solar system. Spawn's next piece of scaling comes when he fights the shadow god Urizen. Urizen is a being older than heaven and hell itself. He is so powerful that it took all the forces of heaven and hell just to imprison him. He was released from his prison and started wreaking havoc on the world once again. Spawn had an encounter with him, and in the end, Spawn was able to seal him once again using the powers of heaven, hell, and the mortal world, now the feats of his most powerful adaptations. After defeating Malbogia, Spawn became the king of the 8th realm of hell, also known as Hell King Spawn. Becoming more powerful than Malbogia is a feat in itself, because Malbogia was stated on numerous occasions to be the most powerful Hell Lord. It was also stated that he brought chaos and destruction to billions of dimensions. Spawn was able to get all of Malbogia's powers, along with merging with Hell itself. All of these realms are stated to be infinite in size due to these scans here. And now that he's one with Hell, he can actually rewrite the reality of infinite universes. Now when I found this next scan, I was blown away. Spawn just leaving Hell was stated to destroy all concepts of time, which would indeed put him at outer versal. In the next video, I'm going to be going over his most powerful version, along with all of his hacks and abilities. Don't think the scale ends here. See you guys there. How powerful is Spawn? Part 2. Alright, in my last video we got Spawn to outer versal levels of strength. One scan was easily able to back this up, but now we have to see the strength of the most powerful version of Spawn, God Spawn. Before we can look into the power of God Spawn, we have to look into the power of God and Satan themselves. God and Satan were stated to create all of heaven and hell themselves, along with each and every infinite realm that it possesses. Not only this, but God and Satan were both able to create every single angel as well as every single Hell Lord. Spawn was told by the Mother of Creation that he needed to go to the Garden of Eden and defeat every single disciple there. And once he completed the task, he needed to eat the forbidden fruit. Spawn was able to go to the Garden of Eden and defeat every single one of the disciples. As soon as he did, he was able to eat the fruit. This fruit allowed him to transform into the most powerful Spawn to date, God Spawn, or Divine Spawn. Now that he has a new set of powers, Spawn was confident enough to go and confront God and Satan directly. Spawn decided to merge with the Mother of Creation, who was a being that was said to be above God and Satan. It was also stated that she had infinite amount of children, and each of those children were equal to God and Satan. Not only that, but every single child also has its own separate reality. I think you guys are starting to understand how big this cosmology is. The Mother of Creation is also able to render each of these children helpless, as if they're infants, and all of this power has gone to Spawn, turning into the physical conception of everything that was and ever will be in existence. He was able to use these new powers to banish God and Satan to the multiverse that they decided to fight in. He decided to rewrite his own infinite multiverse, along with his own set of laws, basically becoming the supreme ruler over the entire cosmology, which was stated to be so vast that it contains an infinite amount of multiverses along with infinite multiversal beings. So in the end, Spawn would scale from outer to high outer levels of strength with irrelevant speed.